They laughed before the scanner finished blinking. Two young base guards stood behind bulletproof glass, staring at the cracked plastic ID card in the old man's shaking hand. One of them smirked. The other shook his head. To them, he was just another confused veteran trying his luck at a restricted U.S. military base. But none of them noticed the way the machine hesitated, the way the screen dimmed, or the single red line of text that was about to change everything. If you love your country and respect your soldiers, hit that subscribe button right now. The sun beat down on the concrete outside the U.S. base like it always did, hot and unforgiving, baking the air until it smelled faintly of dust and fuel. The main gate was busy that morning. Contractors checking in, officers flashing credentials, supply trucks rolling through after brief inspections. Everything ran on routine, precision, order. That was why the old man stood out. He moved slowly, not weakly, but carefully, like someone who understood consequences. His clothes were simple, a worn jacket, faded jeans, boots polished more out of habit than necessity. His white beard framed a face carved by time, war, and silence. He didn't fidget. He didn't rush. He waited his turn like he had waited for orders decades ago. When he finally stepped up to the window, the younger guard barely looked at him. ID, the guard said, already bored. The old man reached into his jacket and pulled out a card that looked like it had lived a lifetime. The edges were worn. The photo was black and white. The laminate was cracked. It didn't look like anything issued in the last 50 years. The guard glanced at it once and scoffed. You serious, old man? The second guard leaned over, eyes lighting up with amusement. What is that, a museum pass? The old man didn't react. He just slid the card forward. Please scan it, he said calmly. That alone made them laugh harder. The guard took the card, still chuckling, and slid it into the scanner. More to prove a point than to follow protocol. The machine beeped once. Then it stopped. The guards exchanged looks. The screen didn't flash green. It didn't flash red either. It froze. Cheap junk, the first guard muttered, tapping the screen. Told you. But then the scanner emitted a low tone, different from any alert they'd heard before. The screen went black for half a second, and then it lit up red. Not bright red, deep red, with a header that made both guards straighten instantly. Access level, top secret, restricted command, override. The laughter died in the air. The second guard leaned closer. That's not possible. The system locked itself. The gate controls froze. A silent alert shot through the internal network, bypassing local command and routing straight to base leadership. Inside the operations building, alarms that hadn't sounded in years flickered to life. The old man stood quietly while chaos ignited behind glass. The first guard swallowed hard. Sir, step back from the window. The old man nodded and took one slow step back. He'd waited longer than this before. Within minutes, the base shifted from routine to lockdown. Armed personnel moved into position, not aggressively, but carefully. This wasn't a breach. It was something worse. Something old. Something buried. Inside the command center, a senior officer stared at the alert in disbelief. The ID number wasn't just valid, it was historic. Classified beyond modern clearance tiers. A credential tied to operations so secret they didn't officially exist anymore. One name sat at the center of it all. The general read it twice. Then he stood up. Clear the gate, he ordered. Now! Back at the checkpoint, the guards were pale. Their earlier laughter echoed in their heads like gunshots. The old man stood where he was told, hands relaxed at his sides, eyes forward. He didn't look offended. He didn't look smug. He looked prepared. A black staff vehicle pulled up, escorted by MPs. The general stepped out, uniform crisp, posture sharp. He walked past the guards without acknowledging them and stopped in front of the old man. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then the general did something no one expected. He saluted. The guards froze. The general's voice was steady but heavy with emotion. Sir, permission to welcome you back. The old man returned the salute, not sharply, not weakly, but perfectly. Muscle memory doesn't fade. They moved inside, away from cameras, away from whispers. In a quiet room, the general finally spoke freely. He said the old man's ID wasn't fake. It was retired, buried, protected by layers of secrecy. It belonged to a man who had led missions during a time when failure meant national collapse. A man who disappeared from records by design. The old man listened, then spoke. He said he didn't come for recognition. He didn't come for access. He came because something he built, something he helped protect, was being threatened quietly, internally. And the system still recognized him as the last authority allowed to trigger certain alarms. The general believed him, because the system already had. Later that day, the guards were called in, not to be punished, but to be reminded. The general explained that respect isn't optional, that uniforms don't define honor, service does, that some heroes don't look powerful anymore, but they carry power deeper than clearance levels. The guards apologized. The old man accepted it. By evening, he was gone again. No press, no headlines, just a file resealed and a base that remembered something important. Power fades, titles expire, but service leaves fingerprints the system never forgets. If this story moved you, tell us, from which part of the country are you watching this video?